All right, so we're here with Jamie Chadwick just after getting out of the Gen 3 car. You left a little bit of a wheel spin there. It was we were just talking about it on the side before we started recording, but how exciting was it just to be able to drive this car? It's definitely a pretty technologically advanced car. It's a pretty cool thing.
I think exactly that. I think if you look at the evolution of the championship, how far it's come, to get the chance to drive a car like this is always going to be special and impressive. And I think, that it was. I think you don't get to see the sort of full range of what the car's capable of in those laps. I think something that we don't see is the race efficiency, that kind of side of things, but just getting experience what the battery power can do and what that feeling does under your feet is cool. You've
raced in electric racing before. You did Extreme E. You also were doing stuff previously in Formula E. So what draws you to Formula E? What makes you want to start maybe doing stuff in the sport? It's a special sport. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening.
Exactly. There's a few things. I think the competitor in me sees a really competitive championship, and you look at the teams, the drivers, and it's definitely kind of somewhere that all of us kind of look to want to be. But also from when you look at what the series stands for and all that kind of stuff, I think doing Extreme E was quite insightful in that sense. So I really like sort of just seeing how far it's come and everything that they're doing to champion change. And from a personal point of view, it's exciting to see that in a sport that I obviously love.
With this car, obviously you race in Indy Next primarily, and so you're used to riding in your Indy Next car. Were you feeling any difference at all compared to the Indy Next car to the Gen 3? What were you feeling in the car that was kind of different, or something that was kind of unique from your usual Indy Next car?
Yeah, I mean, the main thing, obviously, you don't have your gears, or when you lift off the throttle in this, it comes to already almost a stop with the regen. So that's a different feeling, but at the same time, it's still got 4 wheels, a steering wheel, and 2 pedals, so it's similar in a sense. But it is either way enjoyable just to get in and have the opportunity to drive.
Michael Andretti had said yesterday that we were asking him about maybe having a feeder series for Formula E. Obviously, you're in Indy Next, so you understand what that development and that system is going up to that top level. Do you feel like maybe Formula E could have something in the future where maybe they have a feeder series for drivers like yourself and people who want to get behind the wheel, give them some more opportunity and learn about the technology?
Potentially, because I think the level of Formula E now is so high that it is challenging to get into without coming from a very, very high level already. So I think a feeder series potentially gives an opportunity to learn the craft, learn the tracks, for example, before potentially getting an opportunity in the big seat. So I would like to see it, but at the same time, I think what I do love about Formula E is, like I say, how competitive it is. And when you look at the drivers and the names, a lot of them have come from Formula 1, Formula 2, all the kind of big championships, so that's cool.
Another name that tested this weekend was Robert Wickens, and obviously his story is very special as well, with his journey to get back to the car and giving him an opportunity as well. How does this opportunity that you've gotten, and even what Robert has gotten as well, how does that really showcase, I think, Formula E's values and what they're trying to do in terms of being an inclusive series and trying to bring drivers from all over and really bringing in that fan base as well?
Absolutely. I think Mia's side, they've previously done quite a lot and had a lot of female drivers in the championship over the years, so already I think they're a step ahead a lot in that sense. But with Robert, it's really cool seeing them adapt the car since his accident. He's not forgotten how to drive, but he's having the opportunity like this to be able to get back on track. So that was very, very cool to see.
How important has Michael Andretti been with you in your career, just giving you the opportunity to obviously race in Indy Next, obviously with Formula E, maybe a chance to race in Formula E someday? I know hypothetical thinking here, but hopefully someday. But I mean, how important has Michael been just in your career and getting these opportunities through this has to be pretty cool, and getting a chance to really grow your career as well.
Hugely important. When you look at the whole Andretti organisation, the people they've given opportunities to, the list kind of is endless. So it's really cool. I need to find him now. I've driven this car and hunt him down to try and get a run in his car at some point. But he's great, and also this track as well, he's had so much success at. So he is the person to ask when it comes to driving a lot of these American tracks.
Did he give you any advice at all heading into this, just kind of about the car and maybe some of the systems they might be experiencing?
I haven't seen him before this, but I remember when we raced here, he was good on advice here. He knows this place better than anyone, I think. So he's a great person to speak to.
Talking about this weekend, enjoying the broadcast, obviously for Formula E, it's just awesome to see this series and this race really grow in the U.S. I mean, what do you think about Formula E's growth in the U.S. and seeing how much it's grown, and just in racing in general? It's becoming people are understanding racing, I think, more in the U.S., and I think you're seeing that through the amount of races that are being on the schedule and the amount of fans that are coming out. And I mean, seeing the grid as packed as it is pretty cool.
It's really cool. Having now been over here over a year competing, I love the racing over here. I think it's super special, the fan base, everything. In IndyCar, for example, it brings is great, and it's cool to see how now Formula E coming to tracks like this, now Miami next year. It's going to be really nice to embrace that kind of American motorsport fan base.
And it must be pretty cool that a lot of these tracks are IndyCar tracks, so you have an understanding a little bit of the track and how they race. It must definitely be a nice positive to be able to kind of already know what you're getting yourself into in terms of how the track races and the certain lines and such.
A little bit. I personally actually really like some of the street tracks that Formula E do, because I think that's a uniqueness to Formula E. And I think that's what, having competed in Indy Next this year, it's prepared me well for, is doing different kinds of racing and different kinds of tracks. So it's nice to be able to go to a familiar track, but it's also nice to learn a new track and experience something new.
I think the teams are going to start calling you here in a little bit after this performance.
I wish it was that simple. I don't know if my burnout's quite good enough to attract any teams yet. But like I say, it's really great to be in this paddock, great to drive the car for the first time, and hopefully not the first time.
Awesome. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it.
Thank you.